Happy 4th of July and welcome to this special edition of the 700 Club. Today we celebrate the freedoms that our country holds dear, and we honor those who gave their lives to secure our liberty.
In colonial Williamsburg, visitors can relive the spirit of independence that sparked our great nation. Thomas Jefferson still walks the streets with the help of an army of historians, reenactors, and storytellers. CBN's Brody Carter takes us there.
As the largest living history museum in the world, Colonial Williamsburg is a snapshot of America's founding. It's where history is relived every day, a place where we can learn and understand who we were and who we're still becoming.
I think a lot of times we ask questions about history because we're trying to understand ourselves, and history can be kind of a safe mirror to not just investigate the past, but investigate who we are as a people.
Step back in time to the 18th century, when colonists fought for freedom from British rule, pursuing the radical idea that people should govern themselves.
Freeze and fire!
Yet, even as Jefferson championed liberty, the contradiction of slavery remained. Today, his legacy and its complexities still walk these streets.
Good day. Good morning.
And this man still stands at the forefront of the story as author of the Declaration of Independence, Virginia's second governor, and later, America's third president.
What does your shirt say? Land of the free because of the brave. Are you brave?
With a team of more than 1,000 reenactors, 89 original buildings, and some 60 million archaeological artifacts, Colonial Williamsburg turns the past into a place you can walk and experience today.
We are accurate down to the stitch. Everything you need to run an 18th century city, almost everything, we have actively running here in 2025. If you look at John Trumbull's painting, his portrait of the Continental Congress, you will see Jefferson wearing this.
The man behind the wig is Kurt Smith, an actor from Arkansas who spent years performing and teaching theater across the country. That was until he found his calling a decade ago.
Superstitions and chains of bondage fade like mist in the morning. When we educate the people in this country.
After 10 years in the role, it's hard to tell where Kurt ends and Jefferson begins.
I don't know if Jefferson ever really leaves me. It's strange, you know, when you learn a second language and they say you're fluent when you start dreaming in the language. I think the last dream I had was in '76, and I was him, and we were in Philadelphia, and I think we were walking towards the Pennsylvania State House.
In real life, Kurt Smith may be far from 1776, but in spirit, he's walked every step. Of the 50,000 letters we still have from Thomas Jefferson, Kurt has read them all. And with more than a dozen original programs written for modern audiences, he breathes new life into the Founding Father, one story, one stage at a time.
This is the most important job that I've ever had. And there's not a day that goes by, and that's not hyperbole, there's not a day that goes by that I don't feel the honor of putting on these clothes and getting to say these words.
And when he speaks those words that helped give birth to our nation, the past feels close enough to touch.
Publish and declare that these united colonies are and of right ought to be free and independent states.
We've been coming for over 40 years and about once or twice a year.
I just think about that the whole time I'm driving here, going through the mountains and everything, about how blessed I am and how fortunate I am to just live in this country.
John Schmidt drives 700 miles from Ohio twice each year for a chance to walk through history and remember what freedom cost.
Thomas Jefferson lived in a time of revolution, and talking to the man who portrays him every day, not much has changed.
You, in 2025, are negotiating with troubles within balance of power. You are negotiating foreign wars. You are negotiating equitable or unequal rights. I don't change a single word, but it hits people differently because of what we are experiencing in our current lives. I think that's pretty cool.
As we gather once again to celebrate the 4th of July, our independence from the British Empire and the right to self-govern, we're invited to once again ask ourselves, what does it really mean to be American?
Jefferson was a pre-romantic romantic writer. His writings, the Declaration of Independence, my God, that thing is full of hope, isn't it? But let's not forget, it's also a declaration of war. That declaration, with every word he writes, 100 men die. And he knows that. But he doesn't end with that. He ends with hope. So what I try to do with my conversations, if the audience leaves with questions and hope, then I can go to bed that night and think maybe I did an okay job.
Jefferson's words still echo across the centuries, challenging each generation to defend freedom, seek truth, and uphold the promise of we the people. In Williamsburg, Virginia, Brody Carter, CBN News. Truth and uphold the promise of we the people. In Williamsburg, Virginia, Brody Carter, CBN News.
Williamsburg is always worth a visit, and you go to see the place where there was the first elected assembly in North America. History literally in every footstep, where you see just how the ideas were shaped. The College of William and Mary there, the attempt by the educators, the teachers, the professors there, to make sure they were training leadership for a new country. And in all of that, instilling in them the biggest goal is individual liberty. It's more than just self-governance. It's more than just a democratic republic, balance of power, the division between judicial, executive, and legislative. It was a lot more than that. The aim of all of it was to preserve individual liberty for the citizens. This July 4th, let's remember that it's life, it's liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. That was their goal, individual liberty for all of us. That includes the freedom of religion, the freedom of assembly, in a broad sense, the freedom of conscience, to believe what you want to believe and to act the way you want to act in your own home, in your own place. That is worth fighting for, and they said it was worth dying for.